Kill the tunes and get into the next round of the finals here at the Rundown.
All right, guys. So here we go. I'm actually. Oh, we just we killed something there.
There we go.
All right, guys. We're jumping into game 2 here between binski and viOlet. We're going to have another Zerg versus Terran for you all. And it looks like we've got, viOlet spawning in the upper right-hand position and binski spawning in the lower left-hand position. And another Zerg versus Terran here, rather. And I'm very interested to see what binski decides to do on this map, as it was his choice.
Yeah, it's pretty large. This is a larger map than I probably would have chosen if I was a Terran. I like the small. I like the. See, I like this hyper-aggressive, though. I don't like to try to go up that super complex tech tree. There's too many choices to make, you know. All right, we see the barracks going down here. Perfectly normal time. Let's see how many drones we wait to get before we see something interesting.
Looks like the hatch first going down on 15 for viOlet. Pretty standard timing for that hatch, standard timing for the barracks as well. About the map choice for binski, I feel like this is a good map to pick if you have a really good 2 or 3 base push as Terran. If he's going to say go for a mech style, where he wants to get 3 bases pretty quickly, get a lot of Thors, Hellions, and tanks, and then push his opponent, this is a fantastic map to do that on, because you've got to remember that third is kind of tucked away near the main and the natural, and so a Thor, say standing on the high ground, is able to cover that from Mutalisks pretty well.
I love living in imaginary StarCraft land where I just imagine and extrapolate all of the endless series of tech choices that can be made. You know what's even more interesting, though, is that when a real tech choice is made, it's something like this. Well, viOlet's going to steal the gas, probably just to prolong the life of his drone out there and scout. Meanwhile, expansions aplenty from both players, and this one is scouted here finally as the Terran player gets out the late scout, but he's not too short on intel. Spawning pool coming up as well for viOlet, and you see him making the stock 4 Zergling plan here. Do you think this delayed him at all, Gwin, or was that just so that he could scout what he could scout?
I mean, the gases are both going up at the same time, and that kind of makes me feel like, whatever it was, maybe there was a deviation in his build where he basically said, if I get gas stolen, I will kill the second gas and then throw up 2 gas at the same time. But it doesn't feel like a big delay. He has that other command center going down on the low ground, so he feels pretty confident with these Marines moving out. And look at this. Kills off one of the Lings, takes 0 damage on his Marines, and turns right back around. So I feel like binski has a pretty good handle on what's happening in the game, and he's absolutely knows what he's doing. Whether he'll be able to execute it against a player as good as viOlet, another question. But he's got his plan.
1 drone and gas here, and a whole mess of them in the minerals, as we see Zerg's starting to get some momentum going. Let's check the numbers for a second, right before it begins to possibly stretch out. Maybe not. Ideal timings on both sides. Super safe bunker on the front side.
And look at this. binski getting the bunker says, this is the time for me to get those add-ons because I feel safe. I don't need that Marine production. But look at this. We have a lot of Zerglings in production for viOlet. This could be a very quick end to this game, as Speed has finished. Maybe he's got a great read on his opponents, knows that he's getting those add-ons and will not have the unit production to hold off this kind of pressure this early. We will have to see, but that is a ton of Zerglings moving out across the map.
Exciting here. We do see some of them split off, so it's not like they're going to punch the gut. And it looks like,
oh, is that Wolof going to finish?
Some nice ESP here. Hellions are going to have to back up from this. No, they're not. Wow, are they going to... Ooh, tempting the Zerglings there, if only to delay for a second. And it looks like that could be a good
round.
round.
One of the Hellions goes down. Zerglings poking up toward that wall, see that it is complete, and are like, well, I guess we're going to have to turn around now. Evo Chamber going down as well as the macro hatch. And this has been an increasing trend among Zergs to get that macro hatch up very quickly. I mean, we're at the 7-minute and 30-second mark, and the macro hatch already over halfway done.
Well, we're going to answer that one with the third command center here from the Terran side, and I like that idea. It's time to blow things up a little bit because you know how fast the Zerg can get going here. Let's check it out here for a second. We got a Bangling Nest, Spine Crawler, got some +1 to armor happening. We got the additional gas going up. Things are cooking along nicely here for the Zerg. Let's check in on the numbers one more time as we are going to keep our eye on these Hellions here.
Look at this. The Hellions checking for that third base. Do not see it yet. Up to 48 drones for viOlet now, which is closing in on actually saturated off 2 base. If you don't oversaturate, that is, and go 3 drones per mineral patch. 39 workers for the Terran. And army supply-wise, of course, Terran ahead because Zerg can just switch into that mass unit production at any time. And that is, of course, the danger of playing against Zerg. A few Banelings in production now for the Zerg, but those finishing up going to be used as defensive Banelings, it looks like. And both players just kind of posturing in the middle of the map with a few units.
Gotta love it. 9 minutes into the game, though, and I really like that I'm seeing a third command center this quick, so I'm going to have to give some props to Binski here. He wants to get things going in a big way. Let's check out the production queue here. As you can see, Orbital coming up on the additional command center, adding a starport.
And the 1-1 has been started. He's up on 3 racks, and the 1 fac with the starport should be able to add on some additional barracks soon. The 1-1, like I mentioned, on the way, as well as combat shields. Is Stim finished yet? Let's go check one of those Marines out, see if it has finished. I do not believe it has been done yet. Oh, Stim has been done. I'm sorry, I missed that. And we see some Zerglings rather moving up to the north for that counterattack path. But
there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, this is a lot. I don't know.
I don't know, but I think that Binski is expecting to find a third, and he's not finding it.
Yeah, well, now that he doesn't find it, I think he's relieved here. But maybe you're right. Maybe maybe that was enough force to attack the third, right? And now he's expecting more units to come out.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, with the balance of not taking the third there, not taking the early third. Look at this. He's forced 20 Zerglings out of viOlet. And that's Zerglings that viOlet really didn't want to make, and Banelings that viOlet didn't really want to make. But because the threat of the attack was there, he was forced to do it. That's going to delay his third by even more than just that supply depot in the way, Will.
It's a really tempting all-in choice there, possibly. I mean, should you or shouldn't you? Well, he's deciding that he should with this 1 tank. Oh, and he had it. He just should have stayed. Unfortunately, he's going to have to back off there. Coming in and clear out the additional expansion locations would be all the Zerglings here. And I'm not really that much of a fan of the creep spread that's happened so far.
He did get a lot of it just cleared out, so we'll have to see, what happens there. But, of course, with that supply depot there, additionally, Binski knows when that third is going down, and he's taking his own third faster than his opponent. And that's not a position you want to be in this matchup. You always want to take your third first as the Zerg player, because if you don't, you're going to end up in a situation where the Terran player can out macro you, and that's exactly what we're seeing. 125 supply to 111.
All right. Of special note, you guys, check out the tank spread. It's nice and tasty. Yeah. All right. We've got a nice drop here at the third location, but the Zerg is on to him. It's just a question of being able to escape without losing the medevac at this point, it seems. Looks like it's going to work out well for Binski in that instance. More units streaming out from the Zerg here, and let's see if we can do... Oh, is that 2-2, brother, that started?
2-2 on the way, so I would not be surprised to see a big 2-2 timing. Look at that. We have the armory on the way, and a lot of barracks here in production. Second factory finally going down as that third base gets established. Not surprised to see that happen as well. Would like to see him move up to 3 fac. I think that the number of Zerglings and Banelings, especially with those mech upgrades on the way, definitely worth it.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice presence here at the middle of the map. There's just a little too much chilling, in my opinion, you guys. I mean, I hear some crying in the channel. Oh, I'm the smartest guy in the world, and I know all the permutations. Hey, guess what? Nobody cares, buddy, okay? Check it out. This is what's happening in the game. Look, we've got banelings, we've got zerglings, and tanks. That's it, okay? Now, take another look. Mules aplenty. Let's take a look at the numbers here, Gwin. Give me some thoughts.
I mean, worker supply is actually even right now, so viOlet not really in the lead, especially not economically with those mules. I mean, mules are such a powerful force in this matchup, and I mean, I'll say the same thing that I have been saying since beta, and that is that the Marine is actually the best mineral dump unit in the game. It's better than Zealots, it's better than Zerglings, simply because at a very high skill level, you gain a lot from microing it, and you don't gain as much from microing Zealots and Zerglings. And the Mules simply makes Terran's mineral dump even better. So look at that, the responsible scan spots those burrowed banelings. They do not go down, but hold on, we've got a counterattack at the natural. Is he gonna commit? Yes, he is. So Mutalisk gonna go down up at the top there from that drop, and we'll have to see if viOlet can hold this or if he falls. That is a huge ball for viOlet moving forward. He catches the tanks unsieged, but will he get the baneling hits?
Yeah. Everybody's toast over here, buddy. You gotta give it up. Ooh, okay. Baneling's getting focused down very nicely by the Marines. Props to Binski for the sick play right there. Plenty of Zerg units. And you know what? There's a lot of drops happening here. I just love how many different fronts are under attack right now by viOlet. It's really causing a lot of APM interruptions, a lot of disruptions with expanding the economy. And it's just going to add up to a win at the end of the day. Look at this. How many bases are there exactly out here?
I mean, it looks like we have 3 bases for the Terran with a 4th command center going down at the 3rd. And then we have the 4 bases for the Zerg, but even supply, you know, this is one of those situations where that counterattack literally saved viOlet's life. If he had not had that such an effective counterattack that caused Terran to have to react and pull back for so long, he would not have had time to get up these Zerglings and Banelings to deal with this on-pressing force.
All right, let's take a look at the army numbers here for a second. 103 to 93, pretty even, close, sort of in the numbers department, but I'm loving that 2-2
push
friend.
Down at the 3rd. The 2-2 is absolutely huge, I agree, but that is a lot of Mutalisks, and there really are not Marines here to defend this position. He's going to have to pull back for those Mutas, though, as those Marines do come, but he's going straight into the main. So many add-ons completely vulnerable. No, instead going for the armory and the engineering bay to take out that 3-3, which is a great move on his part as well. 3-3, of course, is when Marines get really, really scary. And
you know what? This is really nice here. I like the small packs of Marines here from Binski. He's really doing a nice job because it doesn't seem like viOlet's really taking the time to micro everything the way he should. He's really obsessed with his mutaball right now and just being a nuisance out front. You know, I would just submit to the quorum here that he's got enough to attack move this. Like honestly, and you know, I don't know. I guess money's tight right now. I guess that's a better point. Money's tight. Nice harass here by the Mutas. Are going to drop 3 of those 5 tanks out front, and things are looking better here by the minute for viOlet. That was sick, brother.
viOlet, certainly an exceptional player, pulling those Mutalisks in, picking off a few lone Marines. Is he engaging too many, though? It's one of those questions where you have to make sure that you are cost-effective against your opponent with those Mutalisks and with the Banelings as well. Huge drop down at the bottom. Did it do a lot of damage? No, looks like it's pulling on back. Command Center probably will fall to these Mutalisks. Both players maxed at this point. And, I mean, this gets to an interesting point in the game. Terran has a much more difficult time remaxing after losing a large army, but it is harder for Terran to lose giant chunks of their army because their army is so cost effective.
The spread is superior right now by Binski, and it's really making it impossible for the Zerg to advance much. But it's really excellent with these Mutalisks here, how he's taking advantage of every hole that comes through.
Meanwhile, huge push through the middle. Mutalisks, Banelings, Zerglings rolling through the whole thing. So much being lost. Supplies plummeting for both players, but more so for binski. And binski will need to stabilize after this, otherwise he will lose the game right here.
All right, well, continuing on in with the speed bangs, and you can see just getting rolled on the front side is the Terran. Meanwhile, though, we do have to point out there have been drops all over the place here, very costly ones at
Drop
that.
in the main, drop at the 4th base. I would say that viOlet at this point has the choice to go back home and try and clean up these drops, or to go all in. It is lucky his Spire was not at his main, or that would have certainly been taken out.
Yeah, things are getting hairy on all fronts here as this drop that was at the 4th is about to spy the 3rd. And this is big trouble, enough to turn viOlet around here, as you see in the middle of the map here. All stop and full retreat here as we send the counter with the Zerglings.
How many Mutalisks are actually on the map right now? I'd have to say this is probably at least 20 to 30 Mutalisks.
24, brother.
24, that is quite
27.
Quite a number out of viOlet. That is, yeah, I mean, he has invested so much gas into those Mutalisks. He needs to make sure that...
All right, we lost some bases here. Let's check incomes to see who's really got some long-term longevity here. Looks like Binski.
viOlet
Wow.
is actually not mining at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, Binski's got the nice plan. Okay, well, at least viOlet was mid-transfer with a lot of drones. That makes things seem a little better for him. This is a magnificently large force here from Binski, and so far a magnificently played game.
Those drops did some absurd damage, but look at this Mutalisk count out of viOlet. Woo! Will it be... I mean, Marines are so strong, and Binski with the GG.
That's an interesting... I mean, really?
I think Binski was.
I guess
in a
that was way
situation,
more than. Look at how many that was.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, we're looking at 29 Mutalisks there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also talking about his natural being mined out, not having a command center at his 3rd anymore.